Welcome back to Full-Time Hockey Oilers Edition, and what a controversial signing again do we have here in Oil Country. Oilers organization signed Stan Bowman as the new GM and president of hockey ops, and I don't know what to say, but that was kind of shocking news. We heard his name linked with the Oilers just a couple weeks ago when he was reinstated back into the NHL on July 1st. That he was able to get another job in NHL as a GM or whatever type of executive position. But we just all hoped it wasn't with the Oilers. And guess what? All of a sudden, July 25th, and of all people, Stan Bowman is now the Edmonton Oilers' new GM for 2024, 2025, and for I don't know how many more years afterwards. So let's see how well he does. Maybe he stays here for 3 or 4 years or something like that. So yeah, we got this really good-looking man. Looks extremely friendly. He's our new GM. Jeff Jackson hiring. So what's with all the controversy? So for those of you who don't know, there was this incident with this former Chicago Blackhawk NHL player named Kyle Beach that was sexually harassed by the video coach of the Chicago Blackhawks back in the day. And the entire, the whole assault harassment thing was covered up by the head coach, Joel Quenneville, and Stan Bowman, and nobody knew what happened. So that was like from 10 odd years ago, and then in 2022, Mr. Beach stepped up to reveal what had happened, and then everybody knows that afterwards, Quenneville and Stan Bowman had lost their jobs in this Chicago Blackhawks organization, and eventually was suspended from the NHL to work in the NHL. So controversial signings, nothing new in Oil Country. So in 2017, we signed back then Zach Cassian, who had some drug issues or something like that. So we gave him a second chance. And then 2021, we signed Evander Kane. So he was the wife beater or gambling dude that bet on his own games. So that was bad news. Then a year later, we signed Jake Virtanen to a PTO. And this guy was involved in another sexual assault case. So he was in the deeps. Good thing we did not continue, and he was let go from the PTO. And then last year we get Corey Perry. So the worm comes to join the Oilers after he was let go from the Chicago Blackhawks, or he left the Blackhawks or whatever. I forget what happened there. After he was kind of just had some what was it, like a incident with a coworker. It was kind of like a verbal harassment or something like that in that manner, and then they parted ways with him, and then he came with the Oilers. So these are the recent signings that have been involving controversial players and getting second chances in Oil Country. So were there other candidates for this job that were available for this opening in the Oilers organization to fill this GM position that Jeff Jackson did not want to fill? So there were a few notable names, and of course the first runner-up was Mr. Mark Hunter. He's been involved in this conversation for a few times. So 5 years ago when Ken Holland got the job, he was also a front runner, but we picked Ken Holland instead of him. So this time I thought he would probably have a good shot to take over as GM, and he did not. I don't know what happened with that. And then another guy out there is Jarmo Kekalainen from the Columbus Blue Jackets. So he was kind of, I don't know what he was doing down there in Columbus after getting Johnny Gaudreau, and nothing kind of worked out after he hired Babcock that to be a head coach that never even showed up for game 1, and then he got fired right away. So I don't think Kekalainen was probably doing too well in this department there. And also, who's left? Jason Botterill. Yeah, no. Okay, not after what he had accomplished in Buffalo. Not very well done, huh? Okay, so let's skip that. So I guess really there weren't many candidates available other than Bowman and Mark Hunter. I would have preferred Hunter, but maybe I don't know. Maybe he was kind of in the higher end of the ages or something like that. That Jeff Jackson wasn't really aligned to. After hearing the interview between not the interview, the presser from Jackson and Stan Bowman, it seemed like they were like friends from a long time ago, and they're page to page and many thoughts and ideas on how to run the Oilers. So I guess that was what Jackson kind of ended up deciding on, to find maybe probably a young guy who also won and with plenty of NHL experience. So experience-wise for Stan Bowman, we can go down the list here. So he started working with the Blackhawks since 2005 as director of hockey ops, and then became AGM in 08 and 09. And then in 2010 he took over as a GM and won his first cup there after hurting the team already filled with Patrick Kane and Taves and Duncan Keith and all those other guys. From who was it, Dale Talon, and then they won the first cup there. And then a few years later, he wins another one with the same group in 2013, and then the last one in 2015. They win 3 cups in 5 seasons, so kind of a mini dynasty there for the Chicago Blackhawks. And then all the way down, he's been a general manager of the Blackhawks since 2009 all the way to 2020, or 2022 I mean, after the incident of the Kyle Beach thingy, and he resigned. So notable signings and dealings he had done as GM in Chicago. In 2009 he resigned Patrick Kane, Jonathan Taves, and Duncan Keith, all to these 5 and 13-year extensions on the same day, in December 3rd, 2009. Okay, so back then they had offered those huge long deals, so 13-year deal to Duncan Keith, and then everybody knows what happened in the last year. He came over from the Oilers, or came over to the Oilers from the Chicago Blackhawks in a not so good of a deal. Okay, and then some dumb signings, I would say, or moves he had done as GM. I don't find anything notably well he had done, because he didn't really make big signings that kind of won for the Chicago Blackhawks, because at the end everybody knew his team didn't really perform well, probably always bottom feeders in the conference or even the entire NHL, landing 31st or 32nd for these past 5, 6, 7 years. Okay, so in 2016, he traded away Teuvo Teravainen, okay, back then, a newcomer, to Carolina for a second-round pick. And, yeah, okay, that wasn't smart. So everybody knows Teravainen, how he's played pretty well down in Carolina, become one of the top 6 scorers down there, but recently he's rejoined Chicago after he's left Carolina. Okay, and then 1 year later, in 2017, he trades away Panarin, the bread man. So Artemi Panarin traded away, along with Tyler Mott, with a 6th round pick down to Columbus for Brandon Saad and goaltender, a one-time Oiler that never played, Anton Forsberg, and a 5th round pick for the 2018 NHL draft. Okay, he also traded away the 1st round pick to Dallas that ended up being Jake Ottinger, so a very, very good goalie. Okay, so he traded down for the 29th pick, and he got Henry Jokiharju and the 3rd round pick. So that was kind of a loss to obtain a good goalie. Now they don't have any good goalies. Okay, and then here's the big one, 2021. Okay, so he trades Keith to the Oilers for Caleb Jones, and conditional third round pick in 2022 NHL draft. Okay, and when nothing was retained, we had to pay Keith's full salary for that whole year. And then he unites Caleb with his brother Seth as he gets Seth Jones from the Columbus Blue Jackets and traded away Adam Boqvist, Chicago's first round pick and second round pick in the 2021 draft, and as well as the first round pick in the 2022 NHL draft. So 2 first rounders for Seth Jones and a $9 million contract extension that ended up not being very good. Okay, so that was a bummer for Stan Bowman as he brings in a top defenseman at that time, and that didn't turn out, and kind of took up all the cap space on his team. That did not make any improvements, and still their team was a bottom feeder for many years. So why Stan Bowman? Here's my take. If you recall their cup win in 2015, Stan Bowman became the father of the LTIR loophole. He was the first GM to take advantage of this no cap space in the, or no cap in the NHL playoffs, as that year in 2015, Patrick Kane was heavily injured. He broke his collarbone or something just before the trade deadline, and he was supposed to be out of the entire season and done for. The Blackhawks were then able to gain some valuable cap space since Kane's salary is put on the LTIR, and they could shore up some better players and improve their team. Miraculously, Patrick Kane came back fully healthy and played in the first game of the NHL playoffs of that season, and eventually helped his team win another Stanley Cup to finish off their 3 wins and complete their dynasty. So I guess experience in manipulating this loophole to gain some benefits for his team might actually help the Oilers, since for next season it looks like Evander Kane might be joining this LTIR pool because he's pretty banged up, and we need an experienced GM that's already used this move, pulled it off, and also won a cup with it, and maybe he can repeat the success with the Oilers and probably help the Oilers win their first cup in this new era. So I guess some fans, or many fans, are disappointed in this hiring, as was I. But this is just all the stuff up front in the media and social media, whatever actually happened behind the walls, or behind the doors, closed doors, or what he's improved on, as he's said in his presser that he's learned a lot in these 2.5 years. He's joined some what was that, Sheldon Kennedy or something like that, and helping others in this awareness program to prevent these tragedies and mishaps from happening again in new environments. So what's done is done. He's been hired, he's the new GM, and I guess we'll have to live with it. So what's most important is how he can operate as a GM. Doesn't really matter what he's done in those other areas regarding those sexual assault cases, I guess, now, because Jeff Jackson trusts him, the owner trusts him, and I guess we'll have to trust him for now. Hopefully he's able to make up for his bad deeds by making some nice and useful moves here in the oil country that probably will be overseen by Jeff Jackson himself. And his first objective, as he said in the presser, is to re-sign Leon Draisaitl, which is of the utmost importance. And if he is able to succeed in this first mission of his, then he should probably be able to sign McDavid and Bouchard next year. And maybe finish off some good deeds and win a cup for the Oilers. So we shall see. One thing I liked in this presser was that he had mentioned that we shouldn't look back at the team last year, what they had accomplished last year, and expect this year to be the same or even better. Should plan for what's going to come up in the next season. Look to the future, but not to the past, because the past can't dictate what's going to happen in the new season, because everything can change on the dime. So I think that was pretty truthful and realistic in a good way, and somewhat give us some confidence that his experience might be knowledgeable and useful to the team. Okay, so that's it for this video today. Hope everybody enjoyed my review, and please feel free to leave your comments and such down in the comments section below. And please kindly hit that subscribe button and show some support for my channel. It will be gladly appreciated. And thank you very much for watching once again, and we'll see you next time. Bye.